It's 2026. You've probably heard it 1,000 times already. You know you should be making content for your business, but you probably aren't sure how to make it, what to make, how much to make of it, so that there's an actual ROI there. I've talked to hundreds of business owners at this point, and they all come to me with a very similar problem, which is they want to figure out how to make content work for their business. Because if they don't have a system, the opportunity cost is crazy because you could be making a whole bunch of money somewhere else in your business instead of spending hours making content that flops, which sucks. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I like to think about content strategy for me and all of my clients. I'll show you how to do it, get a little nuanced with B2B versus B2C, and then show you the system that I use. So let's jump over. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me know if you can see it. Zoom joke. But I like to start with the foundation. When I think about content, I always start with how do we look at top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content. Most businesses I see is they start with only bottom of funnel content. I call this billboard syndrome, where their whole profile, if you go and look at it, is all bottom of funnel content. What is bottom of funnel content? It's you making an ask of some sort of, hey, work with us. Here's a promo. Here's a discount, a limited time offer. Whatever it is, you're asking the viewer to interact with your business in some way. There is nothing inherently wrong with having bottom of funnel content, but you are on social media. People are not on social media to look at your account, especially if it's only bottom of funnel content. They'll know that you're going to ask them for something. They're going to bail. So on the opposite end of bottom of funnel is top of funnel content, which we're trying to give a lot away. My philosophy on top of funnel content is that we are casting a very broad net. So we want to attract our audience. We want to bring people into our sphere. Sometimes that means we're attracting people who are outside of our audience. I get into arguments all the time with people about, oh, should we only post educational content that directly speaks to our clients' problems? I don't like that because it takes a really long time, like years, for that to start working. Whereas if you start to bring people into your sphere with maybe a little more mass market, broader content that says, hey, my audience is within that wide net, you'll start to actually build an audience, which then leads us to our middle of funnel content. Our middle of funnel content, our middle of funnel content sits, oh my goodness, sits to educate, to nurture the people who we've done top of funnel content. We've introduced them into our sphere. And now we say, hey, if you're interested a little more, they want to dive a little deeper, we have educational content. We have storytelling content that says, hey, this is who we are as a company. This is who the founder is. These are some of our teammates. Here's how you can do XYZ. All of this just takes people from, hey, I'm scrolling on Instagram. Here's a puppy video. Here's a street fight. Oh, that's a fun, relatable video. Let me see what this profile is. Oh, man, this business actually is answering some of the problems that I have. I'm very curious. I'm going to follow them because maybe they can answer my problem down the road. That's top of funnel, middle of funnel. Now we can say bottom of funnel content. We can make the ask. There are people who have the intent, but we need the audience. That's why I stress top of funnel content. A lot of people don't do it. Which brings me to, how do we decide how many for your business? How many are going to be top of funnel? How many videos are going to be middle of funnel? Or how many are going to be bottom of funnel? There is something that we have to think about. There is some nuance. Is what industry are you in and what business goals do you have? So a lot of people, they come to me and they say, hey, I'm in B2B. Is that different? The strategy different than maybe someone in B2C? Answer, yes, there is nuance between the two. When I think about B2B, it's more complex. It's higher ticket, meaning it's more expensive, longer sales cycles. And the people who buy B2B, they need proof, they need assurance that you can provide the results that they're looking for, because a lot of the times it's not the founder who's buying B2B, it's a marketing director, a marketing manager, someone in that world who then has to report to somebody else and say, hey, we want to make this purchase. If you suck as a business, that employee is going to get fired because they just spent a whole bunch of money. They didn't get the results, and it's on them. It's not on you. Unfortunately, that's how that works a lot of the time. On B2C, it's a very impulsive for the most part. It's lower ticket prices, a lot emotional driven, where you say, hey, this is so cool. I can spend $30 on something and maybe not really think about it. And if it sucks, maybe I return it. Maybe I don't. $30, whatever. That's more on the B2C side. So when we think about these, the two sides are very different from a psychological standpoint. How do we start to make content around that does touch on these things? On the B2B side, some people hate it. They're like, oh, boring. I like to still do top of funnel content. Why? I've been saying this a whole bunch, is that we need to build that audience. If you're only doing middle of funnel or bottom of funnel content on a B2B business, possible, you can make that work, but you have to get people manually to your page, which means you're doing outreach. It means you're running ads. It means maybe it just sits as a portfolio piece, but that is not the channel of acquisition, because you're driving people there instead of saying, I'm going to use the app, Instagram, Facebook, as the acquisition channel itself. So tofu, mofu, bofu, how do we create our content mix? In B2B, I like to do like 40 to 50% top of funnel. It's still a lot. Half of your videos being top of funnel is a lot, but you still need to build an audience, even if you're B2B. Middle of funnel, I like to do 30 to 40%. And that's, hey, we're educating people. We're showing them our product. We're showing them our services. We're showing them that, yes, we know what we're talking about. We're educating them. We're showing our authority, our expertise. We're showing some proof. And then bottom of funnel is a 10, 20%. Just making that ask, because if we build our audience here, they're showing that there's some intent in the middle of funnel, then we can make our ask, and a portion of that will go, yeah, let's make that sale. Let's jump on a call. Let's see what that looks like. On the other end, we have B2C. This is a bit more broad in the terms of we're not solving a very specific problem for a very specific business. Again, tofu, mofu, bofu. When we think about top of funnel, we're going to be at 70 to 80%. Middle of funnel, 15 to 20%. And then this bottom of funnel, 5 to 10%. And what's cool with this is that you are bringing in so many more people and a broader audience, because it is a quicker, more impulsive buy. So you can say, hey, I'm reaching out to almost the whole world. A larger percentage of that net that you cast will probably be interested in the thing that you're selling, compared to B2B, which is a bit more niche, a bit more boring, in my opinion. So when we think about this, B2B, B2C, how do we actually start those sales conversations? Because we need eyeballs, and in the simplest way, we need eyeballs on your business. We need them to somehow raise their hand and say, I'm interested. And then somehow we need to get them onto a sales call or a landing page, some form of sales conversation. When I think about getting eyeballs, that's content, right? We've been talking about this. What type of content? Let's get top of funnel, baby. Okay, so we have eyeballs. How do we get people to raise their hand? When we are putting our content out, we always make little small asks. If that is, hey, comment a keyword. That is such a quick way to say, hey, someone is showing intent that they want something of ours. If they comment a keyword for a free resource, they comment a keyword so that maybe they want to work with you, you can reach out and have a conversation. The fastest way to get a sale is to actually get on the phone and start having that sales conversation. So keywords, stories are also great. It's a method that you can have people comment keywords again. And then from here, they say, hey, I'm interested. You can just shoot them a DM. Hey, why did you ask for this free resource? What are you looking for? And you can kind of tell when you look through, not everybody is going to be qualified when they comment that keyword or they reach out asking for something, but you have that conversation with them. I have yet to see a sale made directly in the DMs. All I do in the DMs, if it feels like a fit, because I'm trying to help somebody, is say, hey, would it be would it be worth your time jumping on a call? I'll show you how this works. That's all that is. And then we have that sales conversation. On that sales conversation, maybe you have a sales setter, maybe you have the closers. They can do their magic. That, in a nutshell, is how I think about content. And it's how you can use organic in a way that is its own acquisition channel. So if you're curious of seeing how this could be specified, tailored for your business, for a limited time, I'm doing free audits of your content strategy. Either click the link in my bio or comment strategy down below, and I'll send you a link where you can book a time on our calendar. It's about 30 minutes, free call. Take it. It's the best thing you could do.